I'm Santtu Laivuori. I come from Finland. I am an old school nerd or geek. I was a nerd before it was cool or popular, so it means that I had no friends. And this is why I care about, for example, the loneliness. And I care about finding your place in the world, because I basically had no one to help me. This is why I have wanted to create a program to help especially young people to find their place in the world, to find their calling, to find their purpose. So this is why I wanted to create a company called Lens. The purpose of Lens is we help companies, like traditional companies, to stay relevant. We are bringing them the startup potential to help them stay relevant also in the future. And then for the students, I'm trying to build this bridge between the education and the business, because basically education normally only gives you the theory, and you could study about swimming for 5 years, but if you never jump into the water, you don't actually know if you like it. I think this is a global problem, that we value experience so much that we have created a paradox. In order to gain experience, you already have to have experience. So even like getting a degree is not enough. We have big unemployment in Finland, even with master's degree students. So what I want to do, I want to give them the opportunity to show what they can do, and then through process basically find their place in the world. By definition, I would say that innovation is an idea that you can move and actually capitalize. So you can actually bring it to the market and create change with it. So too easily we talk about innovation and ideas, and they're like mismatched. So I would consider like the actual practice of innovation to be more closely at hand with entrepreneurship. And there's a semi-famous saying that with innovation, it's 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So basically, you have to put your work at it. So the application is everything. If you cannot apply it, then it's of no value. For academia, where it's pretty much on the theory side of things, I would see that the biggest kind of teaching we could do is to also teach our students to be more brave, to be more entrepreneurial, to be more courage. For example, for all aspiring young entrepreneurs, when they pitch me their idea, I always ask them like, why do you care about it? And if they don't know the answer, I don't think that they're gonna make it. Because it's most of us don't make it. So you have to kind of like love the game, you have to love the process, otherwise you're just not gonna, you're gonna quit before. And this is why I maybe these teachings could be applied to education as well. I know that they would be very valuable to our students. I think there needs to be the theory. So we need to educate our students that they understand that this is a possibility, but just theory is not enough. There also need to be practice. So we need to create this sort of like environment where they can basically practice failure. For example, the invention of a light bulb, it took 10,000 tries, 9,999 which failed, and then the one. So this is a very important part about understanding that you're not going to get it right the first time or the second or the third. The master has failed more times than the amateur has even tried. So I think this needs to be applied in the process, and I would start with this kind of team and project kind of like approaches. And obviously globally we could then create international teams, but the team is the key. I would consider institutions kind of like a company in order to better serve the purpose, which is obviously to not just graduate students, but to actually help them grow, to give them the tools they can apply then in after the studies. So they also need to change the way they think and collaborate and practice. I think it needs to be also, we need to challenge our KPIs, because also institutions are run by KPIs as any corporation. And basically we get what we measure. So we need to invent new KPIs to better measure our actual quality, not just quantity in the process. And then because the change also always starts with us. Just as like if you can't help yourself, you can't help anyone else. I believe it's the same with leadership. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead anyone else. We also need to have great leaders, because they should be able to not only teach, but to set the example and of growth of what we want to perceive. So I think that this kind of new way of cultural also running in an institution is also important. I think that society puts too much pressure on teachers for educating our children. Even parents might like, have at it, I've done what I can. So it's obviously not fair. And the children are our future, like in all sense of the word. Like there are future talent, there are future decision makers, our politicians, everything. So every part of our society should be invested and should care about what that future looks like. So it should be the government, it should be the corporation, everyone should be invested in giving our children the proper education and opportunities in order to really for our nation to grow and to have the talent we require. So there needs to be a lot more collaboration, but how to actually make that change, that's a very hard discussion, but I would start with the discussion. Don't you also see that you should play a role in this? I've been a business consultant for a long time, and there are very few corporations who actually have any passion themselves. Most people don't even understand where their company exists. They can tell you exactly what they do and what's their responsibility and what their job is, but they can't tell you why their company exists, what's the purpose, like why do we exist, what do we want to really do and create. I think there's a severe lack of commitment and passion in traditional companies, and this is something I would like to change. And before they even have the passion themselves, they can't really give it to others, they can only take it away, which happens to basically all the kids when they enter the business world finally after getting their degree. Like, this happened to me. It was a shock because I had studied 17 years for this. Is this it? So this is why I'm trying to change it, because it shouldn't be like that. Work should be something we can find passion at. Like I like to say, smart people can create value at any role, any position, but only if you do what you love can you really change the world. So I would like for more people to do what they love. Was it Steve Jobs who said that people don't know what they want until they see it? So it's not enough for me to talk about it, I have to show it. So basically what I also do, what I apply is to find these companies who are courageous enough to try, to give this opportunity for young students to also teach them, because it's not only the experience and the old who can teach the young, but it's also the opposite. The young can also teach us. So what we do, we create a project where we create value, but not based on experience, but based on potential. So we find the most potential candidates who find purpose and passion in creating this change, and that passion spreads. So we succeed on our project and we create great value, but kind of like something magical that happens is that kind of like that passion also is spread to the other workers. So I think it happens in small steps, because the world we're trying to change has been created for decades. So it takes a long time to change this process and this big thing. I'm most likely going to give a speech in Finland in a few months, and the topic is going to be, do we need another tech startup? It was already like when I graduated like 12 years ago, I read a great quote from the internet. I just realized that the brightest minds of my generation are thinking about new ways to make people click ads. That sucks. And I still see it. Our young kids are looking at these billionaires who have gained their position, or trillionaires, to technology with no compassion, no care for humans whatsoever. We're just building tech upon tech. I think that every company should exist on one way or another to improve basically the human way of life, human condition. For example, if your company would reduce loneliness, I would say that your company is a great thing. So basically, like, do we need another social media? Is another TikTok or Facebook really what we need? I would argue strongly that no. So I think we need to be more aware of why we do what we do, because now I think why the kids want to create this, because they want to be famous, they want to matter, they want to be seen, but they're still the loneliest. Like, I would argue that like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all of these are probably the loneliest beings in the world. So it's not sure something that anyone should want. I want there to be more connection and more meaning and more purpose in what we do. I will want to see more startups based on other innovations, because there's a multitude. It doesn't have to be product, it doesn't have to be technology. There's a multitude of things they could do, and I would love to see change in that.